In this video, I visit Borough Market in London for a 15-minute photo challenge.
Adorama TV presents Take and Make Great Photography with Gavin Hoey.
Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that has everything for us photographers. And today you join me at Borough Market for a 15-minute photo challenge. Well, Borough Market is a big food market right here in the centre of London. It's cold today, but this place is heaving with people and stands and all sorts of exciting things to photograph in just 15 minutes. That's not really fair, but I'll do my best. Now, before we go into the throng of people, I'm going to do a shot here, a little HDR shot, because I love the sign at the front and the dynamic range between the sky and the inside of the market. Well, I'm not going to get that in a single shot. So today I'm using my Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II and the 12 to 40mm lens. Maybe not the right lens for this job, but we'll find out in a minute. But what it does have is a lovely HDR function. So when I press it, I can take 5 shots instantly and I can put them together inside of Photoshop. Okay, let's go and do the real photography. Let's go inside. As you can see, it's really busy in here. So my camera settings, I'm shooting in aperture priority mode because what I'm interested in is the depth of field in this shot, and I want a shallow depth of field. So f2.8 wide open on this lens. That also means that my shutter speed, that's going to be as fast as I can get because the lighting in here isn't that great and there's lots of moving subjects. So I want a reasonably fast shutter speed. That means I've also got my ISO turned to auto ISO with the auto ISO set to a maximum of 1600. That should be enough, hopefully, to get what I need, but well, we'll keep taking pictures and see what comes out. Being quite a cold day, there's a lot of smoke and steam, and that will add to the ambience of the place. And smoke always adds a bit of atmosphere. Always good in shots. Lovely. Oh, there we go. Very warm looking, which on a cold winter day is exactly what you want. So I'm constantly moving my focus point around as well because there's just so much going on here. Trying to keep something in focus and not have somebody walk across means that having a large number of focus points is really helping because I can put a focus point on a blank area of space and make sure that stays in focus for a couple of shots. Just got to remember to keep taking pictures and moving that center point back to the center. Okay, so I've got a half a plan here that there's so much hustle and bustle and people moving. I'm going to do a long exposure, try and get them blurry but keep the static things in focus. So that means coming out of auto ISO and dropping into a fixed ISO. Let's go 200 ISO, the native ISO for this camera. I'm going to go for an aperture that's going to give me a shutter speed of about a second. I suppose I could actually just jump into shutter priority mode, but hey, I'm in aperture priority mode, and when you're in the heat of the moment like this, you want to stick in a mode you're comfortable with, because you will forget to change it back, I promise. Okay, I've got a big solid thing here. This is going to be my tripod to get me that 1 second exposure sharp. I'm going to push my camera in here. I'm going to come and frame this up. And I'm going to take a few shots. Now I'm going to try a couple of other shutter speeds as well, just in case 1 second isn't, I'm not able to hand hold it. So I'll try changing my aperture to get me that shutter speed I want. Let's go for maybe a half a second instead. Little bonus if you can find someone standing still at the exact moment you press the shutter. That really helps tremendously as well. Okay, let's move on, find somewhere else to shoot. Definite advantages to the flippy foldy screen. Means that you can do shots that are much higher than you would normally do. Which when it's busy is handy. There you go, 15 minutes comes and goes really quickly, and in there, you don't get far in 15 minutes. I've got to come back, and when I come back, I would probably swap the wide angle and short telephoto lens for a longer telephoto lens, because I think there's some cracking portraits in there, especially if you're like me, you like to step back and zoom in. However, I think we've got some good shots, so let's just take one of the pictures into Photoshop and do a bit of editing, and I'm going to do that right now.
Well, that really was a fantastic place to photograph. There was so much going on, and to a degree, that busyness is going to be reflected in my editing. Let's have a look. So this is the picture as it came off camera, and you can see it's a riot of colours. There's reds, there's yellows, there's greens, there's blues, and all of that is quite distracting. I think this would work really well as a more simple black and white image. Now, to make my image black and white here in Camera Raw in Photoshop or in Lightroom's Develop module, I'm going to come across to the HSL stroke grayscale. Lightroom, it's B&W. And then I'm going to click on the Convert to Grayscale option, and that's going to take away all of the complicated colours and leave me with a basic black and white. And I can make it even more basic by clicking on the default to reset these little sliders. Now, those sliders allow me to change the brightness of the colours in the image. Now, I know what you're thinking, there are no colours in this image, so how does that work? Well, you have to try and think backwards to when there was some colour, and you can make that colour brighter or darker. For example, if I take the red slider, I can make the reds in the image a brighter tone or a darker tone. And you can see I can make quite a dramatic change. Now, in this case, I think I want a darker tone because I end up with a nice dark patch along the top. Oranges, I can move the slider around here. Now, oranges in this case are going to affect the skin tone, and I want a brighter face, so I'm going to increase my orange. Obviously, it'll affect everything else in the image, such as the food here. We may have to come back and fiddle with that in just a moment. Yellows, well, again, there's going to be yellows here and there. I think a little bit dark on the yellows is the way to go. Greens, there is some green. We'll make that a bit brighter. There's definitely some blue on the glove, so I'll just change that. I don't think there's any aquas or purples. And you can see how just throwing the sliders from side to side will allow you to see whether there's anything there that needs changing. And that's absolutely fine. It's all non-destructive. You can, of course, change this at any time without any loss of quality. Right, I'm happy with that, but there are some other changes I want to make, so I'll come back to the basic panel. I think I want to try and recover some more of the highlights, so we'll just generally, all over the picture, reduce the highlights down a little darker, increase the contrast, and add some clarity. Now that's going to affect everything. That's known as a global effect. But if I want to make a local effect in a smaller, more precise area, I'm going to use the adjustment brush. And the adjustment brush, for example, allows me just to dab a little bit of light just on her face like that. That's pretty good. And even if that's too bright, I can come back afterwards and just fine tune it to my needs. And it means that I can make a new brush, reduce the highlights, and maybe just bring the highlights back a little bit more on the food there like that, and maybe add a bit more contrast and some clarity in that area. And I can keep building up new brushes and say, well, let's have a little less exposure, something like that around here, and I can literally paint in exposure or contrast or clarity or a combination of everything exactly where I want it to go. What I'm trying to do really is to make the face more or less the brightest part, the bit you're actually going to look to, and things that maybe I don't want you to see, like the, well, those down there, that area, I can darken down and reduce the intensity of that part of the picture. Okay, let's go back by clicking the zoom tool and you can see the end result. And there you go. There it is. My black and white picture of Borough Market is completed.
Well, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos from myself and the other amazing presenters here on Adorama TV, you've got to be clicking on the subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.
Do you want great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy to use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use AdoramaPix.com.